There's a specific kind of tiredness that has nothing to do with how much sleep you got. It's the tiredness of low-grade, constant self-management. The background hum of trying to be okay. Trying to get to a version of your life where you'd finally exhale and feel like you'd made it. And if you're honest, that version keeps moving. Every time you get close, the finish line politely relocates. What if the thing you've been reaching for, peace, steadiness, the sense that you're actually okay, was already inside you, fully intact? Not something you have to earn or become worthy of, just quietly sitting there, waiting for you to stop running long enough to notice. That's the claim we're sitting with today, that a kind of deep, unconditional okayness has already been given to you. It's not conditional on your performance. It doesn't disappear when you mess up. The problem isn't that you lack it. The problem is that you keep treating it like something you have to qualify for. Like once you fix the anxious thing, handle the hard conversation, lose the weight, hit the number, resolve the past, then you'll finally be allowed to feel settled. This is an invitation to stop waiting, to claim something that was never actually withheld. Let me give you a picture that might make this more useful. Imagine you've been carrying an emergency fund in your wallet your entire life. A serious one. Enough to cover any expense, any surprise, any crisis. It's been in there the whole time, but somewhere along the way, you forgot it was there, and so you've been living like you're broke. Anxious about every bill, rehearsing worst-case scenarios at 2 a.m., turning down small pleasures because you can't quite afford them, carrying that tight, careful feeling of someone who has to watch every dollar. And the money is right there, in your wallet. The entire time. That's what we're talking about. Not money, obviously, but the same structure. A resource that's already yours, that you've been living without because you forgot to check. This kind of inner grace isn't a reward that gets deposited after enough good behavior. It's not something you unlock at level 40. It's already in the account. The whole video is really just an invitation to remember to check your balance. But before we can check, we have to look at why we don't. Here's the strange part. If peace was really this available, why aren't we walking around in it? Why does even the idea of sitting quietly for 10 minutes make some part of you want to reorganize a closet? Because being still means meeting whatever we've been outrunning. The noise, the self-criticism, the unresolved thing from last Thursday. On some level, we've decided that constant motion is safer than a quiet room. We stay busy not because we love being busy, but because busyness is a very effective way to avoid the interior we're afraid to sit with. And so the wallet stays closed, not because we don't want what's inside, but because we've quietly agreed that we shouldn't get to have it yet. Not while we're still like this. Not while there's still that thing we haven't figured out. Notice how much of your life runs on that logic. I'll rest when. I'll relax when. I'll feel good about myself when. Every piece you're waiting for is one you've placed behind a condition. And the condition keeps changing. Okay. Let's go back to Tuesday morning. It's 9:17 a.m. You're already behind. An email from your manager lands. They want a project update you haven't started. And within about 4 seconds, a very familiar story spins up. I'm not prepared. They're going to see that. I should have started this on Friday. I'm always doing this. Your chest gets a little tight. Your focus scatters. The rest of the morning runs on a low-grade dread you'll only half notice, because you're used to it. Now, just for a moment, imagine that underneath all of that noise, something in you was completely undisturbed. Not numb. Not dissociated. Not performing calm. Just genuinely, quietly settled. Not because the email disappeared, but because you remembered something the panic had temporarily covered over. That's the shift. That's the whole thing. It's not that the email stops mattering. It's that you stop mistaking your reaction to the email for the truth about you. And here's what's almost funny, because at first the realization has this comic quality before it becomes quietly enormous. You've been living broke with a full account. All that dread, all that self-management, all that trying to earn your way into a feeling of okayness, and the okayness was already there. Underneath. The whole time. The realization isn't shame. Shame would just be a new way to be broke. It's more like the moment you find your keys in your hand after 20 minutes of searching. There's a small laugh in it. And then something softens. So what does it actually look like to claim something that's already yours? It's not dramatic. It's not a declaration. You don't have to feel a wave of golden light or convince yourself of anything. Claiming, in this context, is just a small, honest turn of attention. The way you'd finally stop and read a letter you've been walking past on the counter for 2 weeks. It might sound like, for one breath, I'm going to stop arguing with this email and just check what's underneath the panic. Not fix the panic. Not perform peace. Just check, is there anything down here that isn't panicking? And almost always, if you actually look, there is. Something quieter. Something that was here before the email arrived and will be here after it's answered. Not loud. Not impressive. Just steady. That's the balance in the account. You just checked. Nothing outside had to change for something inside to shift. The email is still there. The deadline is still real. You still have to write the update. But the frantic quality is gone. Because you're no longer trying to earn your way into being okay before you respond. You're responding from okay. And this is what it looks like when the exhausting background project quietly dissolves. The project of trying to become someone worthy of peace. It dissolves not because you finally achieved it, but because you noticed the gate was never locked. You'd been pushing against a door that opens with a light touch. Daily life starts to feel a little less like a test you might fail, and a little more like a place where you're already held. Not because life got easier, because you stopped adding a second layer of struggle on top of the first. You can practice this in very small moments. In the 2 seconds before you reply to a text you're anxious about. In the pause between meetings. In the flash of self-criticism when you catch your reflection. Each of these is a chance to check the balance. To notice that underneath the reactivity, something in you hasn't moved. That's what we're going to do now. Together. Not as a concept, as an actual experience. A few minutes of sitting quietly and letting you feel, in your own body, what's already there. If you want to keep practicing with us, you can like the video and subscribe. Let's take a moment now to let this settle with a guided meditation. Let's take a few minutes together. Find a way of sitting that lets your body settle. Feet on the floor if that helps. Shoulders down. Nothing to fix about how you're sitting. Let your eyes close or soften your gaze downward, and just notice that you're breathing. You don't have to change it. The breath has been handling itself all day. Feel the weight of your body being held by whatever you're sitting on. Notice how you don't have to hold yourself up. Something else is already doing that. Let that be true for a moment. Now, gently, let your attention drop underneath the noise of the day, underneath the list, underneath what's unfinished, underneath whatever conversation is still playing somewhere in your head. You're not trying to push any of it away. You're just letting your attention go a little deeper than it usually goes. And notice, something down here is quiet. Not forced quiet, not performed quiet. Just quiet. Something in you that isn't panicking, isn't rehearsing, isn't managing. It was here before you sat down. It will be here after you get up. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to name it. You don't even have to believe in it. Just let yourself rest against it for a few breaths. Like remembering something in your wallet you forgot was there. Breathe. Nothing has to happen. Nothing has to shift. You're just here, letting what's already true be true. If your mind wanders, that's fine. Just come back to the quiet underneath. It hasn't moved. Stay here as long as feels right. And when you're ready, let your attention widen. Notice the sounds around you, the feeling of the room, your body in the chair. Take one slower breath. And bring this with you. Not as an idea, just as a small, quiet knowing that something in you is already okay, and always was. Thank you for being here and practicing together. If you'd like, you can find a free digital ACIM resource in the description. And if you want to mark the moment, a simple comment such as, "I am grateful," is welcome. Thank you for spending this time here. Whatever you're walking back into today, it's already there, that steadier thing underneath. You don't have to hold onto it tightly. It's not going anywhere. Be gentle with yourself this week. I'll see you soon.